Well, looks like an Imperial cruiser. Our passengers must be hotter than I thought. Try and hold them off. Angle deflector shields while I make the calculations for the jump to light speed. Welcome back, everybody. It's part 2 of issue 94. This part, we're going to get these mounted, so that should be cool. Before we get going, let me get this out of the road. I wanted to show what I recently got. I got a new airbrush. So this one has 3 sizes to the needle. There's 2 millimeter or 0.2 millimeter, a 0.3 millimeter, and a 0.5 millimeter. I'm going to have to do a lot of testing with that to see how it works, but I wanted to get something that I felt like I could maybe dial in a little bit better. And more specifically, I wanted to get something with the paint cup on top because it was a little bit frustrating having to put too much paint, a bunch of extra paint in the cup that I wasn't using. So what this is going to require, though, is I'm going to have to pre-mix the paint and then put it in here, as I'm using it. But I do have some jars that I can use for that. I do have some empty jars somewhere. Um, I think they're over in my other area. But so this kit, I bought the whole kit, and it was a really good price. I think it was like 140 or $150, and it comes with the airbrush, and it comes with this is a tankless air compressor, so that's a bit of a problem because it's tankless, so it means it's going to run all the time, but it's supposed to be quiet, so that's good. And it also comes with an airbrush holder. So yeah, so the airbrush has got a lot of extra stuff to it. Each of the needles has a different nozzle that you have to use, and then yeah, so it comes with some nice instruction manuals. This one is just basically to kind of make sure that you have it, I guess, kind of set up or whatever, telling you how to operate basically the compressor. So that's good. And then this how-to, uh, the really good stuff is the care for the airbrush, and there's a couple of tips that I had never realized. And then it's got some little tips on how to kind of teach yourself how to airbrush a little bit better. So I might actually try those, do a little bit of practicing and stuff. But let's go ahead and get started. So this time what we're going to do is we're going to take these little magnets and we're going to put them on here, and then we're going to follow that up with putting these bigger magnets, these bigger ones here, so you can see the difference in the size. These bigger ones are going to be mounted onto the metal, so they'll get glued onto the metal. So when I am ready, I'll be bringing over the base over so we can get those mounted. But in the meantime, what we're going to do is figure out how these get mounted, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these pegs off to where the cross piece is, because the cross piece is going to sit flush against the metal part. And if you recall, these are supposed to get glued in. But I'm going to cut these off, and then I'll just glue these magnets right on where the plastic bit was. But I'm only going to cut 2 off. So I think I'm going to do diagonal, and I'll leave the other 2 for lining it up. But I got to make sure that I get if I do top and bottom this way, then it'll be the opposite side. So I want to make sure I'm going to do all of them the same, top one side, bottom the other side, and they're all going to be like this. So top this side, bottom that side, all the way around, just for consistency, and because some of these overlap, that way where they overlap, like if this one's on the bottom, the next one's on the top, and they'll keep them both kind of secure. Is my thought anyway. So let's just kind of have a quick look, and so we can kind of figure this out. So I'm assuming it's going to go like this, right? So get all these situated. That one goes like this. This one is going to go like that. And this one will go like that. So that's, I'm just looking at the way these are. I'm assuming that's the way they get mounted on. And if we just do a quick look here, that looks correct so far. Yes. Correct. Yeah, that's all of them. So that's how they go on. So to avoid confusion, I'm going to use a marker. I used to have just a normal black Sharpie. I've got this one, and I can do that. But I thought I had a normal Sharpie. I feel like a normal Sharpie would be a little bit easier to um, mark on these, but nevertheless. So what I'm going to just do is I'm just going to put an X for the top. So that way there's no confusion. And so what I'm going to do is I'll mount these small magnets on first, and then I'll bring over the base and we can mount the top ones. So the reason why I want to mount the small ones first is because what I'm going to do is I'll position these, and then when I put these bigger ones on, before I glue them in place, I'll set them on there, and then I'll use the marker again to mark the away side. So that way when I put them, glue them back on there, I know which side goes to which, because otherwise if they're backwards, it'll repel them. And so I got to make sure I avoid that. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to use these to take care of these, and so we're going to do top and bottom. I just realized that if I don't line these up perfectly, these may not go in place. So I'm going to go get the base, the lower hull, and bring it over. Let me get this glue into a position that I can actually use it. So let's go get that, and that way we can position them as we go. Okay, so this is what I was worried about, was being able to get this positioned on here, because there are little screws here, and the magnets keep getting drawn, particularly the one on this one side, keep getting drawn to the screws. So I need to be able to put this on without having the screws to be in the road. Also, the magnets won't go through this one side, they'll only go through the front. So it's a bit of a pain in the butt to do that. I mean, the nice thing is I can put them in and they'll just sit in there, no problem. But what I want to make sure is that they'll come back out when I want them to. That's a bit of a problem. If they don't come back out, that's going to be a huge issue. So what I think I'm probably going to do, let's just lay down. There we go. What I think I'm going to do is just find a drill bit that's just this size and make sure I ream this out. And then I'm going to have to take off all the pieces to do this. So that way I don't have to contend with the little screws. I got these on. I'm sorry you couldn't see all that down here working down here. Very kind of tense, but as you can see, they're glued on. I'm going to let them set up just a little bit and I'll show you how it ends up working out. While those are setting up, I'm going to go ahead and take some of these other ones off. Because I have a feeling they're all going to need to come off and I'm not going to fight them. That would be not good. So I'm just going to do one at a time and we'll go from there. All right, here we go. Fits on there just fine. Now the big question will be when we mount this other magnet on here, how well that holds it in place. I'm going to guess it's going to hold it really, really well. So yeah, let's. I don't even know if I can get to the other magnets that are underneath here. There we go. Not on the screws. Oh, it helps if I do this. I think if I put this on here. Yeah, see, it'll lock right in there. We just take our marker. Oh, you guys can't see that. Okay. I didn't. So, yeah, so it fits in here just really good. Right? And I can take it on and off pretty easily. Now, if we put the magnet on, that's going to definitely change things because it pulled the one magnet completely off. So that sucks. Gonna have to figure that out. This is not going as smoothly as I thought it would, or I hoped, I should say. I fully anticipate things to not go smoothly. All right, I'm gonna let all of these set up. Let's get this screwed back in place. And I'm gonna let all these set up, and then we'll come back and try the bigger magnets. So I will take care of that um, after all the drying time. I'm gonna give these things plenty of time to dry because so far I haven't had a lot of success. So if this doesn't work, I'll have to come up with a different plan. I am gonna stick with the magnets. I'm not gluing these things in place, because the idea of not being able to split this back apart sometime in the future freaks me out, dude. There we go. All right, I'll let these set up. We'll come back and see how the rest of it goes. See you guys in a little bit. Okay, so I changed gears a little bit. Instead of using magnets on the inside, I decided to cut up some washers. So I just had some little bit washers. I cut them in quarters, and I glued those in place. I decided not to record that because it took like a half hour to cut the washers up and all that kind of stuff. So I glued them all initially with super glue, and then for those that watched me build the um, organizer for the Imperial Assault game, I used this clear Gorilla Glue, and I just put some on tape like I do super glue and stuck it down. So let's go ahead and see how this is going to work. They hold pretty well. Um, Not going to complain about that. And if I find for some reason that I'd like for them to hold a little bit better, it's like this one snaps in pretty good. If I find that I need them to hold in a little bit better, I can always um, I can always add more magnets and whatnot. So this one's not going in quite as well as I would like. Let's just see how this goes. That's pretty good. All right, and then this one is going to go right here, something like that. Here we go. Maybe. Don't tell me I'm going to have to do some adjusting. There we go. I am going to have to do some adjusting. Ugh. So when I put the glue on, the glue's pretty runny. So it would not surprise me if it filled these holes a little bit. It's one of the things I was definitely worried about. Oh, even pulled off one of these magnets. Great. We will go around and fix up all of these. Let's get them all put in place, see how they fit. Oh, I can't pull the magnet out. That's awesome. I'm going to have to glue something on there for that. Pull it out that way. Okay, now this one should be interesting. This one's kind of hard to put in anyway. This one I actually thought about not worrying about the magnets and just sticking it in there and let friction take over, because it's already such a pain to try to get into place as is. And there we go. That's in place. Magnet came off. Again. Definitely going to have to do something about that. Regardless, we're going to move on. I need to figure out how many of these I have to fix the magnets. I'll probably use this Gorilla Glue to put the magnets on after this minor debacle. Slightly disappointing, considering how much effort I've already spent on this to have these coming loose. I have no idea where that magnet's at. No clue. Well, looks like I gotta find another magnet too. All right. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this is only a partial success due to 2 basic failures. That one needs to have the hole cleaned out. Well, it fits in pretty good. That one I need to clean out the hole a little bit so it fits in a little tighter. Definitely need it to fit in a little bit tighter. I might have to do the magnets all the way around too, because some of these are not fitting in as tight as I would like. Not that you'll really be able to tell the difference once it's all together, but yeah, so I've got some work to do. However, I think that's going to end it for this episode. I might go ahead and do one more episode of just fixing this up, so that way you can see how it's actually fixed up. I'll figure that out between now and next week. Otherwise, I'll do it all off camera, and you'll be able to see it when it's done, and I'll just kind of explain it. So we'll see what I decide for next week's video. But with that, I'm going to say thank you all for watching. Sorry this wasn't a complete success, but I think this video is already going to be a bit long. Plus, it's getting late in the week, and I have a lot of editing to do. The previous part, doing all the work, I'd already recorded like an hour and a half plus whatever this is, and all the extra time after the fact off camera. So yeah, this one over here not fitting so well, but yeah, so we'll get it figured out one way or the other. All right, thanks everybody, and may the force be with you always.